check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Alright, so now as you can see, it's not bad, it's a pretty clean engine. But I'm an artist and a perfectionist, so this is bothering me. You know, this stuff bothers me a little bit. And I'm gonna do away with this beige cream color, and I'm gonna go ahead and make all these tins real custom painted. I figure I might as well, if I'm repainting the whole car, I might as well take the motor out, redo the tins and the fan shroud. And I also got one hell of a leak down here with the oil pump. Alright, so let's go ahead and start stripping this thing down. I'm gonna start taking all the tins off and take the fan shroud off here. Make sure all your wires and fuel lines are disconnected, everything. Get this thing down to nothing so we can start painting it. Fan shroud's out of the way, now I can start working on the tins over the top of the heads here. Just take those off. Just make sure you cover up that hole right there, that intake hole. Shove a rag or something down in there just so nothing drops in. Wouldn't want that to happen. So now I take all the tins over to my table and I just start scuffing them up with some Scotch-Brite pads. If you really scrub at these things, that's enough abrasion I've found to really hold paint well. After that's done, just take some automotive primer. Cover every square inch of this thing. You don't really have to worry about the bottoms, just the top sides that are visible. So then I'll let this primer sit for an hour or two, and once I know it's completely dry, I'll come back and do another scuff up of it. Really hit every little nook and cranny there, get it all scuffed up. Just gonna add a little extra better adhesion when I apply the paint. So I painted those black. Somehow I did not get it filmed. So we're gonna go ahead and hit with the clear over top of the black. I'm using the Rust-Oleum crystal clear enamel like I showed you there. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the same color that I painted the car with. It's Rust-Oleum Sail Blue. Try to use the enamel because it's got a harder finish. First, I'm going to hit it with some primer, and then I paint it blue. I did scuff these up with the Scotch-Brite pad. Basically, just try to get the shininess off of them. Just sand it down until you got every square inch covered. Wipe it clean with some alcohol, and then hit it with some primer. Alright, so I ran out of my automotive primer, so I had some Rust-Oleum on the shelf, so I went ahead and used that for these particular tins. And the same thing, once you coat it with primer, let it dry really well. Scuff it up again with that pad, and then you can finally hit it with your color. This time I'm going with the blue. It's really going to make this engine look more modern, clean, just all around nice, because it's going to match the car, and it's a really nice look in my opinion when you can match your wheels or your motor to your car. So it came out pretty well. This blue lays down real nice, and here's the final products. We got the paint completely repainted. I did black, blue to match my car, and I'm gonna install a brand new chrome polished fan shroud. So this thing should look pretty nice. Now the key is trying to get this all installed without scratching it. So let's try that. Alright, now this is on without scratching it. That is the hard part. Okay, I'm using stainless steel screws with a washer. It's the only way to go. Alright, here's a fan shroud. I got this one off of California Import Parts. I test fitted the generator and fan in here. Make sure there's no binding up, nothing scratching or rubbing. You want to adjust that with some shims, but mine slides right in here and spins nice and freely, so I'm good to go. Alright. About good it's gonna fit. So fitment, it's all right on one side. Throw a screw right in here. All right, and on the back it tucks in right behind here, right behind there. You can see I got a little bit of a gap right here, so I'm not really in love with that. But I don't think I have any other options at the moment, so let's continue.
So last minute I decided I would paint the fan, right? Paint that blue, and then the generator strap is looking pretty grimy and gross, so I'm just gonna go ahead and paint it blue too. Alright, here's the last component I'm gonna paint. It almost matches everything else, right? But it's slightly different blue color, and it's got the paint chips coming off. So I just taped up the cap here, and I'm gonna go ahead and spray it blue, and then we'll get that mounted on the firewall because there's no pre-drilled holes on the new fan shroud to attach this. So it's gonna have to go on the back firewall, which is black. So if I give this a nice fresh coat of paint, it's really gonna pop and have a nice contrast. It's gonna look really nice under there.
I ended up ordering all new screws with washers from J-Bugs, so I'm going to go ahead and use these on everything. Alright, what's up guys? This is day 3 of working on this motor, changing it into this new look here. So the next step was to clean my intake manifold, get those heat risers cleaned out so that the carb doesn't ice up. And I tried doing it, but as you can see, maybe, those heat risers are almost impenetrable. There's no way I can get any utensil, throttle cable, wire brush, nothing down in there. Maybe sandblast it and it'll come clean, but there's a lot of rust and gunk and carbon buildup in there. So what I decided to do was look for a new intake manifold online, about 94 bucks, 98 bucks, I can find one. But my friend Brian has this dual port intake manifold that he offered. This is the red line with the Weber carb. So he offered this to me if I can make it work. So I had to figure out how to make this dual port intake work on my single port. So I went ahead and cut off the ends of my old manifold, and I cut them off right where they straighten out, as you can see here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these on to this intake and attach them to my single port. Now I don't know if this has been done before. It seems like it's going to work. If you've seen this done before, let me know. So basically I'm just taking a dual port intake and reducing it down to a single port motor and hoping it'll work. I had 5 guys that know their way around Volkswagen motors better than me tell me that it should work. It might run a little lean because maybe there's more fuel being added because of the bigger Weber carb, but I've been told it should be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a whirl because the thing looks badass. So let's do that now. So before I attach these to the intake, I'm just going to go ahead and hit them with some silver, give them a little fresh look. Alright, so I got the stock pipe cut off here. I got it filed down on the edge, nice and clean, brand new paint. Now, here's a moment of truth. It fits inside that other pipe fairly loose, but I'm gonna see if I can get that hose clamp tightened down enough. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna have to put some kind of rubber gasket sealer to fill that gap so that I can tighten it down more evenly. It actually sealed up pretty good. I don't really like these hose clamps right there, but I think it's gonna work. So that's in there real nice and snug. It's sealed up all the way around. I think we're in good shape. There it is, folks. Boy, it's so much nicer looking. I gotta make sure I got those plug wires on the right way, but you get the idea. Boom! I can't wait to get this thing back in the car. I gotta get this carburetor figured out. I'm not familiar with these Weber carbs. I don't want to make sure it's hooked up the right way and all of that. So hopefully this will all work. Hopefully you enjoyed this motor makeover. Alright guys, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you, I appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this helped somebody out. I don't know. Didn't really cost much to do this except for the fan shroud, which I believe was around $100, maybe a little bit cheaper. I found online. So stay tuned. Next week I'm going to be installing wood grain on the side of my Bug. Had a lot of people ask me how I've done this, and it's actually much easier than you might think. So make sure you come back, subscribe, and we'll check out that video next week. And until then, see ya.